So I was finishing up recording on a video for Harpies, and Konami decided to drop a brand new Winged Beast deck. So we'll cover Harpies next week, but this week we're covering Flundereeze. So I wanted to get this video out to you guys as soon as I could, because I think this is going to be a high tier meta deck. I think the only real argument with this deck is whether or not it's going to be tier 1 or tier 2. And it's going to change up how you play the deck dependent upon if it is tier 1 or tier 2, because it can play a lot of anti-meta cards that don't hurt this deck. So, they won't be very good in mirror matches, but if it's a tier 2 deck, they're going to be main decking stuff like Dimensional Fisher, Macrocosmos, and Dimensional Shifter. I'll be showing you guys some quick combos and then we'll get right into some gameplay. This deck is very tempo based, so I'm going to keep the combos very simple. So the card that you always want to see in your opening hand is Robin. Robin, on normal summon, will grant you a free search for level 4 or lower Winged Beast, but it's banished when it leaves the field, and it gives you an additional normal summon immediately after the search. Do note though that you won't be able to special summon the same turn that you use its effect. We're normally going to go ahead and search our Eagle off of our Robin. This is functionally the same card as Robin, but instead of searching a level 4 or lower, it searches a level 7 or higher. We are going to be going ahead and searching our Penguin. Penguin has a lot going for it. It's a skill drain for special summon monsters in attack mode. It has built-in battle protection, and most importantly, it searches a Flundereeze spell or trap card on summon. Then you have an optional additional normal summon on top of all of that, so it's quite the boss monster. Now the trap card that we are going to be searching here gives us an additional normal summon on our opponent's turn. And note that all of the low-level Flundereeze monsters, if they're banished and you normal summon a Winged Beast, get added back to hand. So we'll have Robin and Eagle ready to be normal summoned on the opponent's turn. This gives us a huge advantage in terms of tempo. It also gives us a lot of options in terms of disruption thanks to Rise of the Mega Monarch. Now I would normally recommend doing the first combo here, generally because it's going to be good regardless of what you're playing against. Even in the mirror match, Rise of the Mega Monarch can be really powerful. However, if you know what you're playing against, there's a really powerful counter trap that can be searched with Penguin. Flundereeze and the Scary Sea. This counter trap can be used really effectively against any special summon reliant deck. It not only negates a special summon, it prevents your opponent from special summoning for the rest of the turn. Our last combo here is going to be showing off our field spell, Flundereeze and the Mysterious Map. This card is functionally Rhoda with extra steps. If you open Toucan, Robin, or Eagle, it lets you banish one Flundereeze level 1 from your deck, and then because those are able to resolve their effects through that condition, you'll be able to add back the monster that you banished, and then be able to normal summon it, letting you immediately gain access to that monster's effect. Alright, so we're on to our replays here, and our first replay is up against Cubics. I like this replay because it kind of shows off one of this deck's biggest advantages. Flundereeze is very similar to a deck like Nekroz. While Nekroz like to go up against opponents that special summon from the extra deck, Flundereeze have a much wider grasp than that, as they like to go against anything that likes to special summon. They just have an immediate advantage against any deck that likes to special summon. Or rather, any deck that needs to special summon has a massive disadvantage, especially if that deck needs to special summon to keep its tempo up. This deck can OTK on the follow-up very easy. If you can stun your opponent out of turn 1, you can easily go ahead and go for game on the following turn just by continually normal summoning over and over and over until you have all of your tribute summoned monsters on board. You can easily get them out on turn 3 and just go for game. Even if your opponent isn't entirely reliant on special summoning and is able to set some back row, maybe set a monster like Shadal's can do, they still have to worry about Rise of the Mega Monarch, which functionally gets rid of 2 threats on your opponent's side of the field and kicks them out of a draw phase. Our next replay here is going to be up against one of this deck's worst matchups, and that would be Zombies. You see, Zombies have this card called Zombie World, and Zombie World has this little line of text that says, your opponent cannot tribute summon monsters besides zombies. This deck does have a pretty substantial weakness in that the lower level monsters lock you out of special summoning, and all of your boss monsters are tribute summons. So if your opponent can lock you out of tribute summoning with something like Mask of Restrict or Zombie World, you are playing a much different game. Now, people are going to tell you that this deck does not require an extra deck, or that you can fill it up with whatever you want. And while for the most part that is true, there are specific reasons that you would want to run specific extra deck monsters, like the Lyrilusc package for Zeus, for example, because in situations like this, that card helps you get out of Mask of Restrict, Zombie World, stuff like that. There's also a good argument to run something like Link Revo or Relinquished Anima. If your effect's activations get negated, it doesn't lock you out of special summoning, so you can always just go into a Link Revo to be sure that you don't die, which is a very good trick to know. Additionally, I like the idea of filling up the extra deck with targets for Dogmatica Punishment or Super Poly. Since you don't special summon from the extra deck anyway for the most part, there's not really a downside to use Dogmatica Punishment, and you can always just Super Poly on the opponent's turn if you're locked out of special summoning on yours. That said, if you really don't want to do any of that, Paleozoic Dynamiscus is a really good replacement for Dogmatica Punishment. There's also a decent argument to run a couple of rank 10s, or just run some very simple Link monsters like Nightmare Phoenix. Our last replay here is going to be showing the single most frustrating part about running this entire deck: the mirror match. I have not seen a mirror match this cursed in a very, very long time. Mark my words, there's going to be somebody playing a mirror match at a YCS. They're going to forget whose turn it is, and they're going to end up with a game loss as a result. Now I'm going to be giving you the single best piece of advice I possibly can in terms of the mirror. Run Apex Avion. That card is game breaking in the mirror match. I really, really wish I was running it in this matchup. It would have made everything so much easier, and having to play around my opponent's Apex Avion was a lot to deal with. While this deck can normal summon like 40 times a turn or something stupid like that, it only really gets 2 startups on yours or your opponent's turn. You have your regular normal summon and the field spell on your turn, and then you have the trap and the field spell on the opponent's turn. So if you're able to interrupt 2 of the starting normal summons, you're able to stop your opponent from playing pretty much entirely. And in the mirror match, when you have a large series of chains kind of resolving in terms of who's normal summoning when, being able to slap down Apex Avion and negate one of the 2 startups can be really game breaking. Now I'm sure you've noticed that this is the last replay, and the video is a little over halfway over. That's because this match, in general, kind of just takes this long. So I'm going to use the remainder of my time in this video to explain to you why you should be playing Limiter Removal in this deck. Now I know what you're thinking. Limiter Removal only works on machines. These are winged beasts. What if I were to tell you that these are machines? Starting in 1959, the world government started killing off birds and replacing them with surveillance drones. And Konami's in on it. Now let's ignore the fact that Konami wasn't founded until 1969. I know that breaks my entire argument, but they're still in on it. Think about it. We're still missing drones. The deck from Vrains. But we've gotten frickin' Tendangles. They won't print drones, but they've printed Tendangles. Coincidence? I think not. The hypothesis that I would like to give to you today is that Blood Shepherd's monsters have been printed. They were just printed as the Flundereeze. They just have completely different effects and slightly altered artwork and typing and attribute sometimes. Now, according to this hypothesis, all of the Flundereeze monsters are government surveillance drones. making them part of the drone archetype. Blood Shepherd's monsters. Now you may be asking me, why would Konami want to spy on me? Why would the government want to spy on me? That's a good question. I have no clue. I absolutely don't know. You are on YouTube right now. You are likely on your phone as well, and that's usually monitored anyway. So I don't know. I genuinely don't. Anyway, I would just like to thank Konami for finally printing the drone archetype. I've been waiting for this archetype for a really long time. It just looks so cool in the anime, being able to summon all those tokens and having all those traps that do like a wide variety of different things. I know the animation chronicle is going on right now. I really hope the next card revealed is going to be Battle Drone General. I think now that we finally have drones to be able to summon it, they can release that card. I'm really looking forward to it. Really happy that Konami finally decided to print drones. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you'd like to see next in the comment section down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you'd like to contact me directly, you can do so over Discord, link in the description.